Hello. Yeah. Isn't that air conditioner loud? I really hate to turn it off, but that just shows how much I love you. And turning on fan, I don't love you that much. I'm not going to turn it off altogether. Got another 90-degree day here, and I'm waiting for my heart to mellow out because I was lifting heavy shit and excavating the closet back there. Because I got till the 3rd. This is an excuse to get this place in order, really, but I got till the 3rd until my space gets invaded and my ceiling gets torn up. So that's Monday. And I can't count on nobody to help me. It wouldn't matter if I was in a wheelchair. Can't count on nobody to help me. So I gotta do this shit myself. I got rooting around in that musty closet with clothes. I mean, there was like cassette tapes. There was a videotape in there, like a VHS tape that was on like the bottom of everything. That's how far back in time digging through there's like three huge garbage bags full of old clothes, wires, cassette tapes, VHS tapes. I saved a few of the wires, some of the clothes, but not very many. I just threw everything out. Um, but yeah, I got overheated. Even though it's got to be like 70 degrees in here, it don't matter. Um, do what I can today. I did what I could on Monday, which apparently was too much because I didn't get much done on Tuesday. I found out I don't have a wrench big enough in the house to take apart the bike I need to throw out. So I need a crescent wrench, like an adjustable wrench. And I got two of them, but I don't know where they're at. And that's stupid anyway, because I don't think the person that I'm going to give the electric bike parts to will ever use them. But it's expensive shit, and I'm talking like $500 expensive shit, so I just don't want to throw it out. And the thing of it is, like, besides the trouble of assembling it, because you take a regular bicycle and then you assemble these parts on it, like a throttle and a special wheel that's got a hub motor in it. It clicks along really good. I mean, I've gone from city to city on it, but my electric biking days are over because I can't feel when I'm leaning into things. And the last time I was riding a bike and shit, I can't even feel my ass on the seat. So I was just, by myself. Gotta do what you gotta do. But I can't feel shit right. It's really unnerving. Like leaning up against something and you don't even know it. It throws you off balance and you realize, oh, I was leaning up against the stand and that's why I was thrown off balance. I only fell down like once in the last 3 days, so that's pretty good. Cause I was picking up this uh, TV stand on Monday that didn't look like much, but it was made out of particle board, so it was like really heavy. And I misjudged it. I fell over on my butt, which wasn't bad. I did try to catch myself to keep from falling over backwards with my arms and my hands and did a little something to my hand. But it's funny, like behind the TV stand was like this huge snarl of cables and stuff, like, and I had a power strip coming from the wall, and I had all these plugs in this power strip and all these cables and all this shit. And I'm like, well, I don't want to fuck up my internet because how can I get on the internet and amuse slash bore people if I don't have any internet? Besides, that's my only source of entertainment, which is a little bit more important. Um, so there's all these cables plugged into the internet box, and I'm like, there's this big snarl of things like from Direct TV, from Dish TV, and just random cables, random phone cables, standard cables, just all tangled up. So I'm like, I'm on the ground anyway, and I scooch over, and I'm like sorting through this stuff, and I'm getting frustrated. And at one point, I just wanted to throw everything, but kind of defeats the purpose of being careful if I just throw all the cables up against the wall in anger. But I started unplugging stuff, and what I should have done is I should just traced everything from the router box. But once I thought of that, it didn't work anyway because the cable in question would go to a bunch of stuff. But if I really used my brain, which I didn't, I'd realize that the I can unplug all that crap because all I need is the router. So what ended up happening is I sat there and frustrated myself for literally a half an hour, sitting on the ground with my bad leg, untangling these wires and cables and being extra careful because I didn't want to pay $100 service charge if I fucked up my internet and couldn't get it back going again. So what happened is like I realized, like, I started unplugging plugs from this power strip until I got down to one plug, and I'm like, I don't even need the power strip. So it's a really expensive long cable power strip, and I'm like, unplugged the box, got all the cables and threw them in the middle of the floor, and then just plugged the router directly into the wall, pushed the router up against the wall, and all I needed was one green cable. Excuse me. That's all the dust from the closet. All I needed was one green cable going into the router box, and go from the router box to this little like white square thing, and then like a phone line that looks all shredded. But I was like, man, I don't want to move that. I don't know if a mouse or something chewed on it or what, but it works, or you wouldn't be seeing me right now. But I had this big, ridiculous, I mean, I'm talking like 10, 15 pounds of like cables. I'm not exaggerating either. Cables, um, those power supply boxes where you have the cord on the metal, the adapter type plugs. I just picked them up and I in a big ball and threw them all out. And of course, that's not easy because I can't pick them up and just walk. So I have to actually go over to the garbage can, and if you can't bring Mohammed to the mountain, etc., take the garbage can over and throw all these cables into the garbage can, and then with a cane, drag the garbage can back to where it belongs. It's a fucking stupid way to live. Um, but anyways, so I got that mess cleared out. I didn't do nothing with the stand that caused me to fall, except for standing up on end. But the bike I got mostly apart, but I was mad yesterday because it was like I need to take the wheels off, but I don't have wrenches big enough to do that. Now I used to stash a crescent wrench, like a little adjustable wrench, underneath the battery pack in a certain way, and I think an emergency cover in case I got caught in the rain. So I wanted to cover up the electrical parts. Um, So there might be, like in the battery pack that weighs like 60 pounds, because it's like a car battery. It's a lead acid battery that made the vehicle go. There may be a wrench. There may not be. I don't know. But I'm doing all this for absolutely no reason except for ethical principles, because I don't think this stuff will ever get used by the person that I'm going to give it to. But I'm going to give it to him anyway. Man, there's a lot of crap in that closet. Mm. Yeah, 3 bags, big bags worth of stuff. While I'm in there sorting around, and I'm claustrophobic, and I can't move, and I can't feel my body up against things. But one thing about the electric bike is you did not want to get it wet. The electrical stuff. This happened to me more than once. You get it wet, and it completes the circuit on its own. If you get certain cables wet, what that means is you don't stop. You can take your hand off the throttle and the wheel keeps spinning and you don't stop. And I didn't have good brakes on the thing, because in order to make it work, I had to take the front brakes off of it and just have back brakes. So I got no brakes basically. They just slowing you down type of brakes, not stopping brakes. So one of these times that this happened, I had to one of the times I just fell over, of course. But one of these times this happened, I got a plan. I'm like, I can't stop this bike. I'm just on this thing I can't stop. So I'm like, I can't ride on it until the battery dies. It's raining outside, of course. It's caused the problem in the first place. So I ride it around and I ride it around. And you gotta remember, I can't stop. I can only, I can squeeze on the brakes, but it's raining outside. Bike brakes don't work too good in the rain. So I had this plan. Like, if I was trickier, or if I didn't have a fused spine, I could reach behind me like all the way behind me and twist around and like grab a hold of the control box. It's got a little switch and turn the motor off. But can't do that while you're riding. I'd dump it for sure. So I ran it up the ramp and I deliberately rammed it into the ramp to where the tire's just spinning, and then grabbed the hold of the railing, and then I was able to reach back and turn the bike off. And I was like, oh my god, I can't believe how lucky I am, because um, I'm saying that sarcastically if I didn't do it right. Because I just needed, like, there's like a driveway that you have to go in to get up the ramp, and the neighbor's car is blocked in front of it. And I'm like, you gotta be fucking shitting me, man. Now is not the time for you to park and block that little piece of driveway. It's his driveway, he's allowed to block it. It's just the way the house is situated. So I had to go up over the curb, and I had to go around the garbage can, up over a little curb, and then drive it up the ramp. And I was like, yeah, like now the adrenaline was pumping then, believe me. Because it ain't no joke having that 100-pound bike fall on you. It's one thing to hit the road, that's bad enough, but it's another thing to have, it's insult to injury to have 100 pounds of bike land on top of you with those 60-pound batteries. I never cared for that much, which I don't know, I may have told this story before, but this is kind of funny. This is, let's go back in time about 35 years. But driving in the back of the truck, my dad had like the car seat that was jammed up against the cab. He had the bed of the truck, and we were sitting on the car seat, me and somebody else. And he slammed on the brakes to avoid an accident. We come flying off of the car seat. We almost flew completely out of the truck, but we were lucky and hit the bed of the truck. So we hit the bed of the truck, and then like there was like 1,001 and 1,002. The car seat did the same thing. The heavy car seat, like a cartoon, came down on top of us just when we were trying to get up, and smashed us back down. But yeah, I can't breathe right, because I work too hard in a bunch of dust and dirt, lifting and doing stuff I'm not accustomed to because my leg sucks. I like to work, and I like to exercise and lifting weights and all that shit. You wouldn't have to pay me $100 to help a relative work if I had healthy legs. I'd do it for free. But yeah, I can't breathe right now, which is like a warning sign when you have a heart thing going on. Not to, not my most relaxing video, but yeah, I can't get a full breath. That should teach me a lesson. My pulse is okay. It's like my lungs, I can't get a full breath. I've been taking the melatonin stuff at night, and it's actually been working, and I have not been waking up with headaches. So I guess taking 2 pills at once was bad. And I did that like twice. Well, I don't know why I did that anyway. I just assume it's melatonin, it's not going to work. So I shouldn't assume shit's not going to work. Because, you get melatonin over the counter, but I think they're 3 milligram tablets or something. I don't know, they work. Yeah, they're 3 milligram melatonin, and 30 with a refill. But I offered them to my brother last night, who don't fuck with any kind of drugs or prescription drugs. But he has severe sleep disorder, and he's like, yeah, I'd take that. I even said, I know you don't, this is what I said to him, I was like, I know you don't mess with, you don't like taking any kind of medicines or prescription medicines or anything like this, but this is melatonin, and your pineal gland in your head is producing it right now, so you're taking it right now whether you like it or not. So, I got some extra. He's like, oh yeah, I took that stuff over the counter before. He's like, yeah, I'll take that, so maybe it'll help him, maybe it won't. I like to help people. Other people, you got to give them money, because I guess I'm not pathetic enough to, help for free. Bitter? A little bit. I'm a little bit bitter about how people are. You know, I had I finally talked to my niece. I hadn't talked to her for a while. The one that's was over in Afghanistan and in the Bagram airfield as a civilian contractor. And she, I don't know if you remember the news story or not, but she was there when Dick Cheney, the vice president at the time, supposedly had to make an emergency landing or crash landing, or they made a big deal out of it. She was there, and she was like, just don't believe nothing the media tells you. And they like reported another incident there, and she's like, I was there, I saw the bodies, not that many people were killed. No, she was like, way more people were killed, because that's what it was. Is like, let me go back to the Dick Cheney thing really quick. Is the Dick Cheney thing, they played that up as super dramatic, and she said like, all I saw was a helicopter landing. It's like they made it sound like he was going to get shot down by the terrorists, or like his plane, his helicopter was fired upon or hit or something. I'd have to do research, but she was like, they really over dramatized that. And she's like, what I saw was a helicopter landing and an old bald dude get out. And the other thing is, like, they had like a 3-gate system before you could get into the Bagram airfield, and they had a suicide bomber guy. Killed a bunch of people, I guess, and they like underreported it to make it seem like not as bad as it was. They wanted to make it seem like the war was going smoother than it was. But I had like a plant informant there, and she would give me inside information about stuff that I would read about on the news, and it's like the shit don't match up. So I learned a long time ago, don't believe anything the media tells you. Just believe that something happened, and that's why video is so powerful. I guess you can actually see it for yourself, but they can also edit video. Like they edited the video in Atlanta, Georgia, and they show what they want to show on the parts of them. They don't show like the whole video. You had to dig around a little bit to see the whole video, to see the guy that got shot punch the cop full on in the face, and see him throw one of the cops off of the guy, because they wanted to make it look, blue man bad. They're a cop, all cops are bastards, or whatever these expressions are now that are all anti-police and everything. So yeah. So whenever, like, it's kind of funny. I was talking to my brother about it. I don't know if you heard this news story, but this kid, 18 years old, I had a lawsuit for defamation of character and something else. Because when he was 16 years old, the Washington Post, among other media outlets, covered a story of him supposedly harassing protesters, Black Lives Matter / whatever. Anyways, I'll show you the video I'll put a link in the comments. But the guy, it really made me mad. I don't know why it made me mad, but it made me mad. But 18-year-old kid got a settlement from the Washington Post for $250 million, $250 million settlement, because I guess he was harassed for 2 years. And I'm like, man, you can harass the shit out of me for 2 years, man. I had meth heads living in here for 2 years. Like, nobody gave me any money. It's like, what were they beating him up? What were they doing to him exactly? I mean, that merited $250 million. That's like top level quarterback money in the NFL. What the fuck? I was like, he's 18 years old and set up for life, and his name is like something like Sandman. Make of that what you will, because I ain't up to making no jokes. But man, he put the Washington Post to sleep, because that was a settlement, which means he could have got more. And I'm like, what kind of harassment are we talking about? Unless they're like bending him over in an alley, man, how in the hell is he getting that kind of money? People get medical malpractice settlements where they get fucked up for life and ran over by trucks and shit and don't get that much money. I mean, I don't have to read up on it, but I mean, what exactly did they do to this kid? But really, what it was about was the Washington Post trying to like get it out of the news through a settlement. But how can you forget that? An 18-year-old getting $250 million in a settlement? I didn't read, I don't follow shit like that too closely. I still can't breathe. Um, but yeah, there's a famous video, I guess, of this kid, and he's kind of like standing there, you know. There's like an old Native American dude beating a drum in his face. And they said he was antagonizing the group or whatever. Then I made the mistake of bringing it up to my brother because I was just fascinated by the fact that an 18-year-old got $250 million for harassment. And it's like, you can like randomly tell me over 2 years' time that I will be beaten and put in the hospital 5 times. Just let's make it 5 times. 5 times in the course of 2 years. I don't even get any warning. Just like randomly somebody will tackle me in the street and beat me up. 5 times. Put me in the hospital if I'm getting $250 million. So what kind of harassment does this guy undergo? So I talked to my brother, and this just tells you the kind of manipulation that the media does. Is because I'm thinking like, well, this is ridiculous, And then right away, my brother goes off on this screed about like how that kid's an asshole and how like he was bothering them people, and he was being it's like, okay, he watched certain news outlets that painted it that way. Because what I saw was just a kid standing there in the video that I saw. Because I watched a conservative, this is political nonsense now, I watched a conservative outlet reporting on it. And then I watched a guy named, I'll give him a plug, Anthony Brian Logan, ABL. He's a black dude that wears like patriotic type hats. He has tons of different ones and has like flags in the background. But dude is relentless, man. He puts out like 2 videos a day. That must be all he does. It must be how he earns his living. But he's a Trump supporter, like political type thing. So he was like, oh, the friends were there. The guy was actually telling his friends to chill out and leave these people alone, but he wasn't moving. And they were like 16-year-olds, like waiting for a bus. And there happened to be some kind of protest around there, and his friends started. There's a gnat flying around here. And his friends started up shit with these protesters, and he just kind of got caught in the middle of it and lucked out. So, like I said, 5 times. I'll take 5 beatings. Random, too. It's not like I can psych myself up. Come on, let's go. You just randomly jump me in an alley 5 times over the course of 2 years. So I'm thinking, oh God, I've just recovered from being. Yeah, I gotta have recovery time. But I just recovered from being beaten up. It's gonna happen again. Then it'd be worth $250 million. But I'll put a link on that. It just shows you don't believe nothing that the media tells you. Don't believe nothing that I tell you about news stories either, because I'm getting slanted information about what actually happened. I don't know what happened except for this kid got fucking rich. That's all I know that happened. I mean, rich beyond rich. That was a settlement is the part that blows my mind, which, $250 million settlement. So, wish I could maybe I'll start to go back to normal. I don't know. My pulse rate at least isn't too high. I only took 2 5 milligram volume instead of 3 that I was supposed to take, and I haven't taken any this morning because I wanted to do shit. But this breathing thing could be a problem. I think it's rather important to be able to breathe correctly. But there was a lot. Like I said, man, that was excavation work. There was an old VHS tape in there on the bottom of the pile. But I want that closet cleared because I need space to put shit. So I need to clean out this other dresser for a place to put my clothes. And I got this big ass box, and I got this whole plan worked out. So I need that closet cleared out for it because I'm in this apartment, which is spacious enough for one guy, but I don't really have dressers, and this room is very small that I live in, and I there's you know you have to throw shit out. You can't keep stuff if you live in a small apartment unless you want to rent a storage area. I just want to breathe normal again. I'm so rude. I didn't even take my glasses off. My glasses. I got to get to the optometrist and get some different eyewear. My glasses have been leaving red marks on my face to the point where like I'm putting like tissues on this area here because my glasses bother me that much. And yeah, I was saving money there, so I was like, that's not essential. I can suffer with glasses and not get contacts, but I have enough money that I can do that. But yeah, I'm not messing. As far as my knee, I'm just because of the stress level and stuff. Um, I concentrate on like one thing at a time. So I'm concentrating on getting this place cleaned up as good as possible, getting through the third, and having my space invaded by possible COVID carriers. Because that is a real thing, believe it or not. I don't know if you heard about the Marlins baseball team, but Florida got the COVID real bad. So there's 3 games have been delayed due to the Marlins, the Florida Marlins having a corona outbreak. So, um, yeah. So I don't like the idea of having strangers in my place I live in all the time, carrying God knows what. But what am I gonna do? It's not my building, so I really can't say no. And if I say no, the sealant will just break on our tub again, and I'll have the same mess over again. But yeah, if fucking with a closet's gonna make me breathe bad, and COVID fucks with your lungs, I don't want to catch it. You know, I got the bad. I don't have good cardio because my leg don't allow me to have good cardio. It doesn't allow me to work up. You know, I put my treadmill in the closet, but I guess I should have kept it in here. But I wanted it out of here, so I put it by closet. I mean the hallway closet. It's too big to fit in these closets. I got 2 of them, one here and one in the living room. But yeah, that's all a treadmill is good for is cardio. It's not good for like helping you learn to walk because walking on a treadmill is completely different than walking uh, on the road. Yeah, I guess I shouldn't have. I should have like. I don't know if there was any way to avoid that though. Plus, I'm claustrophobic and I'm like stuck in this little space, and I don't like that part of it either. But yeah, I don't want no parts of COVID if a closet is gonna fuck me up. That COVID could put me 6 feet under. I am in the highest uh, risk category because I got heart problems, and then I got the neurological disease on top of it. But I'll be all right, I guess. My stomach was totally fucked up, man, for last couple days too. Yesterday, my diet consisted of like I ate a little tiny frozen dinner of Salisbury steak and potatoes and like 4 pieces of corn. I don't even know why they bother with this little pile of corn in the corner of this little tray. And then I ate a whole bag of potato chips, and that was my lunch. And then I ate a little 4 ounce tray of noodles, and that was my dinner. So that's how bad my stomach was. It's like, that's all I can do. Don't feel too good right now either. But time and landlords wait for no man, so I have to do the work. And usually I need something. I need incentivized. So I'm working that into my vocabulary. I'm sure you've noticed. to get things done. And it's whenever I'd have a landlord in here, when we were on good terms a million years ago, I'd be like, the house. He'd be like, "Oh, the house looks nice," or whatever like that, because it'd be clean. I'm like, I only clean it once a month when you come over. I gotta have a reason to clean. You know, the bathroom is so disgusting. It needs clean, but I don't. I'm gonna have to do that myself, and there's so much that needs done in here. I'm pretty sure. Now, I had somebody recommended to me that I met before named Liz. That's like in her 30s. That, according to my niece that I was talking about earlier, who was in Afghanistan, will clean anything. She's like, she's a worker, man. She recommended me to her, whatever. But yeah, that's just it. That the bathroom's just horrible, man. It's like beyond truck stop horrible. And I should start in there and like just do a little bit each day. But it's really bad. It's like I'm embarrassed to even talk about how bad it is, let alone have anybody see it. And of course, my niece who lived in Afghanistan is the only one that will use the bathroom. I don't have many people in here anyway, but I was telling, man, you're better off going somewhere else than using my bathroom. It's like anywhere else. Go back, go out back, man. Hop a squat out back, or piss against a tree. That's what I used to do at my cousin's trailer in Florida, because the bathroom was so bad. It's like I never used their bathroom. They had tons of woods around their area that they called the farm, which really wasn't a farm. So I just go off in the woods, and I never used their bathroom in their trailer ever. I seen it once, and that once was enough. Um, but yeah, that's it's another thing I got to deal with. I don't mind working, you know. I like a clean house, but on a bad leg, I mind it a lot, and my leg minds it, and then I start falling over and stuff, and it gets to be a bit dangerous, which is uncool. But I just thought I'd check in for a few minutes. And, a few minutes for me is half an hour. Um, if I'm gonna get on here, I'm gonna talk. Damn it, even if I can't breathe. Mm. But that's how COVID presents it. First, you get the high fever and you get the cough, and then you get a chest congestion, and trouble breathing, and that's of course really bad with old people who die of pneumonia all the time. So you know, that's why that pie graph I've referenced before at some point showed that 49% of all deaths were people over 80 years old, because colds, the flu, especially pneumonia, is deadly to old people because of you know what I got going on right now, the bad breathing thing. Uh, the best thing you can do for yourself as far as COVID is get lots of sleep, eat well, exercise, bolster your immune system is the phrase they use. Well, I sleep pretty good, mostly. I don't eat good, and I don't get exercise, so 1 out of 3 is pretty bad, apparently. But I'm mellowing out now. I don't know. I still feel wrong. Like I can't get enough air. But at the same time, my heart, which was kicking before I decided to do a video, because I had to close the computer and unplug it because it was being a bitch. And I was thinking, how to get me like, now that I got that big TV, how to get me like a really quick, small new computer. Like a small, tiny one instead of the 17-inch monitor thing. And use that. And then just like wire it into the 58-inch, basically a monitor. is what I use it for, since I haven't had direct TV or dish TV or any of that spaghetti cord nonsense that I was talking about earlier for a long time. You can get everything over the computer. Why would you bother paying for a TV? And a couple of times I watched movies before they were released in the United States, you know, because they were released earlier overseas. I'm thinking specifically of a movie called The Others with Nicole Kidman. That was a ripoff of The Sixth Sense. I've been having a lot of trouble talking through the teeth thing, which I've just been changing the water on those every day. You know, like a plant, I've been watering my uh, dental appliances rather than wearing them. It's just, I don't know, whatever. Um, I don't know how much that polygrip stuff's to cost, but it's not that expensive, so I suppose I should put them in occasionally. But I'm not eating with them, man. Fuck that. I tried that once, like I said, with the uppers, and it was excruciatingly painful. Like chewing, like barely touching your teeth together. I'm like, there's something wrong here. Or I have very sensitive gums or something, I don't know. So certain words I cannot pronounce well because of the tooth situation. And that's just the way it is. But I'm winding down. I don't feel like doing a marathon. Uh, I had to rest anyway. I have another baseball game to watch because there was two of them yesterday. Due to a rain delay, they did a doubleheader. And I watched part of it last night. I finished it up. Indians won. I can watch part of the game too while I rest up and decide how further to attack this place. Um, yeah, that's generally how I do things to avoid feeling. I'm already feel overwhelmed with the bad knee, neuropathy, and all the symptoms, and digestive problems, and benzo issues, and family issues, and bitterness, and all the other crap. So I just concentrate on doing one thing, like cleaning the house. Okay, getting ready for August 3rd. And then after August 3rd, after that nonsense is done, um, then we'll deal with the knee, deal with making an appointment. It sounds like retarded, I know. It's like, well, it's just a phone call, but it's a stress management thing, you know. It's like I feel stressed out, and my hands were shaky yesterday. I don't know if it was from working because I didn't do much work yesterday, but I talked on the phone quite a bit. It's like my hands were shaking. Then yesterday was Tuesday, I believe, when I was trying to make my list. I was having trouble uh, making a list for the aid worker to use. But I continue to continue, even though it's all seemed very stupid and pointless, but I find amusement where I can amongst the horrid cramping, stomach cramping, and the physical limitations and being stuck in the house and not getting outside and basically not being able to do any of the things I want, including fucking jerk off the last 4 days. It's not even fair. Yeah, I was gonna bring up something. I'm already on that road now, but as a consequence of my life here, I'm also look you in the face if I want to tell you this. As a consequence of my life here, I figured out that I lost an inch off of my penis. Now, this is we're way into TMI territory here. But I used to do a handspan thing, and I could cover my handspan. Now it's more like to the ring finger. It's like a significant difference. I'm like, what the fuck happened? I'm 52. I think I lost so much testosterone uh, and so much of my sex drive that like the fucking thing shriveled because of the bad knee. You know, I'm not exercising, I'm not generating the testosterone because of the benzo thing and going through all that, the 5 years of turmoil and horror of the last 5 years with all the trouble with landlords, with family, with the benzo issues and everything, to add insult to injury, like my dick got smaller. That's not fucking fair. You know, it's at least an inch difference. It's like, that's not fucking fair, man. It ain't right. Okay? You know, I gotta lose my hair, you know, which the light from the closet's highlighting nicely. Um, and I gotta lose like a significant amount of length. I don't know about girth, you know, not into it that much, but I could tell the difference because, like I said, I was like, while in the process, and now I'm like, wait a minute, it's only reaching to, don't reach to the pinky no more, it reaches to the ring finger. It's like, what the fuck happened? I don't know when. I noticed that like some time ago, but I've been much too polite to talk about it. But there's something about not being able to breathe and feeling like you're gonna die that makes you like not give a fuck. So, you know, if I really want to get a bunch of views, I could label this video like Benzos cost me an inch off my penis, or something like that. Or Benzos, I gotta think of a better title, like Benzos shrunk my penis. You know, so it's got to be an anti-benzo message. You know, I don't know. I can't. I gotta rack my brains for this, but it's the fucking truth. You're not gonna get any visual evidence. This is YouTube after all. But just trust me. A guy does not say a thing like that if it's not true. He brags about it being larger than it is. He doesn't talk about it being smaller, but it's significantly smaller. And it's fucking depressing because that happens to you when you get old. But it happened to me just because of all the horrible shit that I've been through in the last 5 years. You know, it's like maybe using it less, a combination of using it less testosterone because of less physical activity, because of the bad knee, less of the lifting weights. You know, like maybe I'm aged prematurely. I don't know. But it's depressing as hell, and there ain't nothing I can do about it. There's nothing I can do about it. I tried like as a duty. I tried to uh, do the old piston valve routine as a duty to try like, okay, you know, I haven't been taking care of you properly. I haven't done proper mechanical maintenance to keep the engine running. It hasn't made any difference. I think it's one of them things like once you lose ground in that area, you ain't getting it back. So it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. I'm not like, it's a point of pride. It's like nobody's seeing it anyway. So what the fuck's the difference? But it still, it bums me out. It was. I'm just merely average now. I used to be above average. I'm just average. Oh damn. You know. Like I said, that one time I maneuvered a girl into bed just to see, you know, if I could get it that far. It's like, well, I could have sex with this girl if I wanted to. Very cruel thing to do. I put her hand on my dick, and I was like, I had like bicycle shorts on, and I was like, not bad for a white boy. She was like, oh, not bad at all. And then she's all worked up, and then I pretended like I fell asleep next to her, you know, and she thought she was gonna get fucked. And I just like fell asleep next to her, or I faked like I fell asleep, and then like she was breathing like real heavy and stuff like that. She was like 22, and I was like 30 or something like that. But at that point, I just wanted to see, like, you know, do I have enough skills to at least get that far if I wanted to? Because at the time, well, you know my story by now. I have a totally atypical life. At the time, like 30 years old, it's like a landmark type time. I could have got laid on my like 30th birthday. I already told that story before. And I'm like, two of my friends had already been with that girl. I wasn't going there. You know, it would have meant absolutely nothing to her either. It would have been just like a physical exercise, just a way to kill some time. Um, but yeah, like I said, she popped in like, God, it must have been midnight. And coincidences of coincidences, you know, two of my friends were there to cock block me that were visiting me. Actually, it was my brother and my cousin. So two of my relatives were there to cock block me. But she showed up and she was wearing a top with no bra on, and I could see everything. There was no question what was going on or what she was wanting to happen. But I had people there, which was just a weird coincidence. And I might have been, yeah, that might have been during the period I had no phone. When I was like, fuck phones. I don't need a phone. I didn't have a phone for like a long period of time. I just would use payphones. This is a long time ago, of course. I would like walk to this pizza and sub joint, and they had like a payphone outside, and call people um, because I don't know if this was pre cell phone era or what, but somehow I, I got my phone turned off, and it was just over something stupid. I had a bad mailman that like refused because I wouldn't shovel my steps, and we had a bad winter. He just didn't deliver my mail, so I didn't get my notice to pay my bill in time. And like I was like, oh, I gotta pay it today, and like shit, it's gonna get shut off. I'm actually reading it like this is the day I gotta pay it today. So I hop on the bicycle. And there's like gale force winds. I mean, like 40-mile-an-hour winds, and I was like, fuck it, because I was you can't fight 40-mile-an-hour winds on a bicycle. Riding into it, I was like, man, fuck this. And garbage cans were rolling down the street and shit. I'm talking about like, you know, Dorothy Wizard of Oz type wind. And I just went home and let him shut off my phone. And then didn't get it hooked up for a long time. So that's why she didn't call. She probably would have called me, but I probably didn't have no phone. And everybody just decided to pop in on me on the same night. But it was late, man, when she showed up. It was late. That was a boutique call. Uh, but anyways, yeah, I'll label this. I don't really care, obviously. So I'll label this. It will get more views that way. So I'll label this. I don't know what to put in the title though, or what to title it. You know, I can't ask you for suggestions for the title unless I want to change the title. But Benzos will shrink your penis. I don't fucking know what to call it, but you know, it bummed me out and took me by surprise. The fact that it took me by surprise probably means that I had laid off for a significant period of time, putting myself through my paces. So, you know, it's just something that I noticed. It's not something like, it's not something I would do all the time. It's just like, so it's like I noticed, and then I was like, wait a minute here. I'm getting shortchanged in the deal. My stack of quarters has turned into a stack of dimes. What the fuck? You know, did I say that right? Because I meant to say shortchanged before then used the change joke. You know, damn it. I don't know if I said that right, but yeah, I don't regret. I won't regret this video a bit or care. Nobody else will care either. So yeah, this way, you know, you can get people to tune in because they'll be like, "Oh, that last video was boring as shit, and an hour and a half long. He didn't say nothing interested." You can't say that about this one. So yeah, but to a guy, that is a horrible blow to your ego. I mean, losing my hair when I was in my mid 30s, you know, that turned me into a somebody with Tourette syndrome in a parking lot. That's a big deal. When I realized I was going bald, at the DMV, my DMV story, where I started swearing and everybody in the parking lot was looking at me and they just thought I had Tourette's. I was like, motherfucking son of a bitch, because I looked at my picture in my state ID and I was like, wait a minute, where'd it go? You know, and then my cousin who had given me a ride to the DMV took great delight in that because he was already bald as an eagle, and so he, you know, he was like, welcome to the club, without saying welcome to the club, and he was laughing. He's like, you didn't know? And I was like, no, I didn't know. He's like, I don't spend all my time looking in mirrors and shit. I don't know when I lose my hair or when my penis shrinks. It just, shit just happens, you know. That stuff don't happen overnight either. I'm assuming you just don't wake up and the fucking penis fairy comes in the middle of the night and takes an inch off your dick. I mean, shit just happens. Um, yeah, that's aging. Aging is fucking weird. It's like it don't happen. I'm assuming I don't have a younger audience, but it does not happen. So I'm talking to people who already know this shit. It does not happen like a gradual process. It happens like pretty quick, but not that quick, you know. It's like I'm sure like one day I didn't wake up bald and one day I didn't wake up shortchanged. It just, you know, happened over a year or whatever. Um, I do remember getting a haircut, or my sister was cutting my hair and she's like, "You're getting a little thin on top here," but I thought she was just mad at me and fucking with me. Um, because we had like some kind of argument or something before that. This is a, like I said, this is a fucking long time ago. The the penis thing is fresh wound, so to speak, and it's happened within the last year. Just haven't said anything about it because I'm much too Victorian and a believer in sound moral etiquette when speaking on the internet, as you can tell. But I'm done. I just have to think up a proper title. But really, it did play a part in it. It was a bunch. It was a perfect storm of nonsense. This last, if you want to call horror nonsense, this last 5 years with the physical problems, the blowed up knee, the benzo issues, which causes physical problems, and the emotional family drama, the craziness with my living circumstances. It's like Jobian level shit being dumped upon me from upon high, if you, if you want to put it that way. I mean, like every facet of my life just blew up in the last 5 years. It's like what social life I had, what family interaction I had, my living circumstances with meth and crack dealers and getting sprayed in the face by the landlord, and the benzo issues and the benzo withdrawal symptoms, and the baker's cyst, and doctors that are turn out to be rapists, and doctors getting shot down in parking lots that that these are guys are my doctors. I'm a bad luck magnet, man. Even my doctors are getting murdered and thrown in jail and shit. So it's just like been like a perfect storm of madness uh, that I'm just trying to weather, trying to get through. And it's really the last 5 years since my parents' death, or a little bit before my parents' death, 2015. Um, but I have COVID and riots in the streets to cheer me up. So, you know, all right, I'm good. Um, I don't know how coherent that was, but there's something about not being able to breathe that makes you forthcoming. So, and I don't like the way I pronounce that word considering the context of it. But yeah, I don't. I just don't care anymore. Like I said in the other video, I don't care. I don't care about it. Just don't care. You know, too much. I'm in too much pain. My health is too bad. I'm too damn miserable. to care. So at some point, maybe I'll get better and I'll be like, oh my God, why did I say all that shit? You know, probably not. Even if I get better, I won't care because the truth is the truth. It is what it is. And you don't get nowhere without facing up to reality. Even if reality is, yeah, it is what it is, man. What it is, yeah. Reality can be harsh, but if you don't like look at it honestly and face up to it, like not talking about it, it's not going to help you. It's not going to help you deal with issues. Like I know so many people that are like just don't talk about their problems, and it's like, yeah, that's going to fix them. You know, it's like no, if you talk about it, at least you get the emotional side out of it. Or they carry around these emotional burdens or emotional wounds and stuff, and they just like keep them to themselves so they can naturally, turn into physical problems. Because emotional repression will manifest itself as physical problems. Um, I know this for a fact, and it actually medical science knows this for a fact. That's just it. You have to express yourself one way or another. I'm lucky enough that I can do it with words, and I don't care what other people think of me all that much. So, um, you know, doesn't matter. Um, but yeah, holding stuff inside, it's just better out than in. Holding stuff inside, it's just bad for you. Like painful things that happen to you, and the stuff that only should bother you, like I say, the two things rule, or the things that you do that are bad, the things that you don't do that could help people, are two things that should weigh on you. Nothing that happens to you, nothing that people do to you, you know, stuff you're responsible for those. You're responsible for your behavior, basically. My basical. That's my basical philosophication is I can't even like mispronounce words on purpose properly. Man, I wish I had my teeth back. It's another thing I lost over the 5 years. I don't have time to list all my losses of the last 5 years, but I used to have teeth. It's like when I moved in here, I was missing one tooth, and yeah, that's yeah. But it's all amusing in its own way. So um, I don't like suffering and whatever, but I learned how to find humor in it. I was gonna wrap everything as ABL or Anthony Brian Logan would say. I'm giving him another plug. Um, he's an interesting guy. He's going to wrap it all up and put a nice bow on it. That's how he says. I'm going to give my own interpretation of it, wrap it all up, and put a nice bow on it for you. That's how he says always says these same things in all his videos. It's very comforting. But yeah, as far as like your own emotional pain and the things that have happened to you in your life, it's like even if you've made bad choices and like things have happened on account of these choices, uh, your responsibility is for how you treat other people. Period. The things that you do that hurt other people, and the things that you don't do where you could help other people, but you don't take the time or put in the effort. The only things you got to be ashamed of. You don't have to be ashamed of that if that just happened. You know, it's like it is what it is, man. It's something you don't have any control over. Um, yeah. Though those ads in your emails always tell you different. It's like the Norm Macdonald joke. It's like I keep getting all these email ads, you know, that are always talking about ways where to increase the size of my penis all I can think of is my GP must be a blabbermouth. Because how do they know? Yeah. But anyways, they did figure out how, to the Viagra thing. They figured that out during my lifetime. So maybe they'll figure out a size thing, but then you'll have other problems from it. There'll be a further class distinction instead of like a monetary class distinction. It won't be like fancy cars or nice clothes or $300 shoes. It'll be like 9-inch penises. The rich guys will have the big penises because that stuff will be real pricey. I don't know. Viagra is pretty common now. I don't know what it costs. I never used the shit, but maybe I should have. Might have helped. But yeah, that would become a further like class thing. If they came up a way where they could, guys are so obsessed with this, they could come up with a way to make guys penises actually bigger instead of like telling you to fuck some exotic fruit or take some pill that's going to magically or do exercises. They have all these things, that tell guys uh, that are supposed to increase size. But if they actually do come up with something, it's going to cost a lot of money. So that means all the rich guys will have the big dicks. And it's like they'll have all the money and the big dicks. And it's like the poor guys will have to be funnier, even funnier, and have more personality and more charm and be more caring. And like, you know, we'll have to work even harder to get laid because everybody will know that the rich guys will all be the hung guys because they can afford to buy, we'll call it Extraline 6. I don't know. And the magical potion that you take. Like it was like magic when they came up with Viagra because they've been looking for that stuff for years. Like, people have been grounding up rhino horns, anything shaped like a penis and hard, they would grind up and eat. Just thinking that it would put more powder in your horn and more lead in your pencil. Um, yeah, anything. They called it an aphrodisiac, but I always thought that was incorrect because aphrodisiac is about desire. It's not about getting a damn erection, you know. So they always call it an aphrodisiac. They had like Yohimbo or something. I think that's a Japanese sword play movie or a samurai movie. So it's all getting mixed up. Swords, penises. I think it's time for me to go before I get any sillier. Or maybe you want me to get sillier. I don't fucking know. But yeah, they had some kind of root named Yohimbo or something like that. That's the only thing I can think of. Um, Thankfully, not that obsessed with the topic anymore. But now that I'm, out of my 20s, um, yeah. But they had like a root that was supposed to like kind of work. It was like a natural compound. But I don't even know if that worked. It may have, it may not. But I got the impression that it actually did have certain properties. And then there was something else that was like I read in a book somewhere. I want to say it was a certain type of beetle that you dried and crushed up, and it increased blood flow through irritation to your penis. Because I read it in a book. That doesn't mean it's true, but I read it in a book. And anyways, they conquered the problems with a flaccid penis through medical science accidentally through Viagra, which was supposed to dilate blood vessels around the heart and help people with heart problems. Ironically enough, it dilated blood vessels elsewhere, and then people with bad hearts really can't get Viagra all that easily because, for obvious reasons, I guess sex is exciting or something and gets your heart going. So I've heard. Um, but If they can come up, they came up with that. If they can come up with something that actually would enlarge guys' penises, like Viagra actually works, and Cialis and whatever else, um, Sinfindel or whatever, Sulfindel. Sounds like an elf. Whatever the magic elf is in that is the chemical that sprinkles the dust that makes guys' penises hard. If they come up with a similar magical compound that makes guys larger, they're going to charge a lot of money for it, at least at first. You know, no, they will just keep charging a lot of money for it. It won't be like Viagra because you can go to your doctor and get Viagra and call it a medical condition. You can't call short penis syndrome a medical condition. You know, you can say like you can go to a doctor and you can lie and say like I got trouble, in the sack, get things going and not even have it be true because you can't. It's not demonstrable. I don't think they have any tests for that, so you can just tell your doctor about it and you figure, well, if the guy's, you know, uh, he wouldn't be admitting to the fact that he's a limp dick motherfucker unless he's actually a limp dick motherfucker. So I will prescribe the medication for him. So, but a short dick that works, they're not going to care about that. That's not going to be considered like a medical condition, you know, unless it's microphallus. Then the microphallus guys will. There's actually microphallus guys out there. That's considered a medical condition, so they would probably get to have normal sized penises. Uh, but the short guys or the average guys will not get to be. I can't. Will not get to be like Captain Hungamungus. Only the rich guys. So there will be further class stratification, uh, which is really a big issue actually. That there's these classes of elite rich people, and there's like lowly poor people like myself with our short penises. That will be even worse and will make the lower class even angrier because there's nothing angrier than a guy that can't afford to have his penis enlarged properly. Short dick guys, very angry people. So, yeah, that's enough. That's enough of that nonsense. Well, I don't care. Like I said, I'm only ashamed of how I treat people. And I'm not ashamed of I'm kind of ashamed sometimes if I make a long, boring video, but I'm not that ashamed because I figure anybody can just turn them off. Somebody commented on it, like, I watch more of your videos. If they were shorter, I'm like, well, I just figured people can watch them until they get bored. Or like, he's not going to say anything interesting. Like, I don't care about what he's saying. It's boring. Tired of looking at his face. And he should do something about his hair. Or wear a hat or something, then they can click off on me. So I'm not even ashamed of like hour and a half, 2 hour videos. It's probably an hour video now, or anything. So I don't care. I am going to be worm food like soon enough. So why should I care? Why would I care? And plus, I've had my pants fall down in public. Like I said, I went into this cash checking place and I had these pants that were stupid because they were button and then fly. But if the button would pop open, the fly had no integrity at all and was a total slut. And it would just drop. So I had like a bunch of heavy shit in my pockets when I was walking into this cash checking place. And I breathed wrong or something and the button popped on my pants. And my pants fell down as I opened the door with the bell ringing to my ankles. I did not go commando. I had underwear on, and everybody in the place, like 12 to 14 people, looked at me. I smiled, reached down, pulled up my pants, zipped my fly up, firmly fastened the button, and walked in there in front of all of them and stood in line for like 15 minutes to get food stamps, I think, because they were distributing food stamps at check cashing places at the time, the old-fashioned kind that were in booklets. And I had already been in the hospital and gone through a whole bunch of shit, so that was like nothing to me. That was like, I can't believe that just happened. I didn't care. I don't know how other people would behave in that situation. Don't care. I had my pants also fall down in a park full of people. I didn't realize it because I don't feel my legs and shit right until I started having trouble walking. I looked down and like, oh, my pants have fallen down in public. You know, I just picked them up in a park full of people while I was fishing with my brother and my cousin. So yeah, me and Shane, we parted company like in my 20s, because of all the stuff that happened to me before that. And it doesn't. I just have a different way of looking at things, I guess. Um, but yeah, video is still too long. And anyways, I will title it something. I guess penis in the title will get people's attention. I don't know, but yeah, I'll call it like Benzo shrunk my penis. Yeah, I'll call it that, and I won't care a bit. I don't care who watches it. If my mama was alive, I wouldn't care if she watched it. Don't care. So, you know, I care more about how I treat people than embarrassing details of my horrible, stupid life. Because lots of things in my horrible, stupid life I have no control over, but I do have control over things that I say and do concerning other human beings struggling through this difficult process we call life. It's a horrible ending. Hopefully, the other parts make up for it, and my sanity will return with proper uh, respiration. Goodbye.